Good morning, 5 a.m. on Wednesday, June the 17th. The month is half over. We're here, Brandon Hardison, along with Hardison's Tips, just to talk to you a little bit about some of the things that may help you for today and moving forward. And not going to keep you long because at 12 noon today, have my special guest, Rebecca Chernick of Chernick Associates and consulting firm, who will be talking about some of the best practices in the F&I aspect when it comes to the automotive environment. But this week, I've been working with desk managers and sales consultants on the trade process. You know as well as I do, inventory is low for many dealers who got caught because of the current virus situation. Wholesalers and auctions, we can come up with a whole lot of reasons why things are low. Hertz announced this past weekend that they had close to 1 million vehicles that they wanted to unload. And if I was an independent, I would have been in line 3 days ago before that announcement lining up. But let's look at the positives. If you are struggling and if you're a manager looking and listening in, and if you happen to be a sales consultant, I don't know what your pay plan is. I don't know how well you drive yourself to achieve to be a winner because you have a financial goal that you're trying to reach. I don't know any of those things. But I do know if I'm in a sales meeting, if I do know that I have some personal goals and dreams that I want to reach, I do know that if I'm in front of a guest and it's showtime and I'm going to give them the best that I can give them, because you have to sell yourself before you can sell anything. And in this bond and rapport, they tell me that in order for me to take your product, you have to take my product. You have one right there. But many salespeople forget the basics. They get lazy. They get sloppy. Yes, I said it and I'll say it again. You're lazy. You're sloppy. I don't care about you and the used car desk manager that you don't get along. You can't make any money with him. It's a waste of time. It's raining outside. It's too hot. Whatever the excuse is, do your job. Now, whether you have some type of documentation that you need to print out, or maybe you pre-printed some out, you need to take the guest with you to their vehicle. You need to take the guest with you to their vehicle. If you just shortchange the process and say, got something with the VIN number? About how many miles you got on it? Got your keys? I'll be right back. And you hand that to the team member, manager who's going to be assessing the vehicle. That's a waste of time. No matter what the guest has thought, because they looked it up on their device, so they have a hard copy book, that's the price they still want. You didn't move them one iota. And I hear it every day when I go to dealerships. How many of you take the guest with you when you're going to inspect their vehicle? 100% of the time. How many of you do that? And you know that when you hear somebody say all the time, they're lying. So if they tell me 80%, well, maybe they're doing it 40%. But you must find a way, unless there's unique situations, Someone is physically unable, handicapped, we can clearly see that. But if it's too hot, if it's raining, come on, think. You have an overhang. You have in the back where the technicians work. You have somewhere to take that vehicle, to take care of that process. So just make sure that you're doing the right thing when it comes to that process. Now, another thing, what are you looking for when you get to that vehicle? Remember, it's an external and it's an internal. Many times I've seen salespeople just walk around the vehicle with the guest and they do not open their mouths. They're assuming that maybe if I just touch something, the customer may regurgitate a whole lot. Well, what happens if they say nothing? What do you do? Are we opening up the hood? Are we opening up the deck lid, the rear of the vehicle? Are we actually looking for stars? Are we looking at the wheels to see if the wheels have been scraped? All of these things are important. And if you don't have a form that you take, I hope you don't think you're depending on this because it's going to fail you all the time. In other words, we need to get the customer involved during this process. Even you would have to agree if you've been doing it for some time. Tires, many times, are the biggest thing that are there. Do you use a tire gauge so you can show the customer why we do what we do and what we expect and what the cost may be and how come they have? You're missing good opportunities. When it comes to the interior, are we looking at the headliner, the dash, smells, rips, tears, checking the air, checking the radio? Are you doing just your basic jobs? Oh, I'm sorry, you don't even turn it on. Or you're sitting in the passenger seat and you don't have the customer turn it on and have them read it to you. All of this is part of a good process. Now, some of you out there may have a form, and at the bottom of the form, it may ask for the customer to sign. Mr. Customer, Miss Customer, in order for my manager to know that we went through this very important process, I just need your signature here. I'm not asking them to buy anything. I just told them that part of my team work is that I do this, you sign it, my manager knows that we went through it, so he or she now can put the price on the vehicle. If you are putting notes on there, please make sure that it's legible or have a conversation with the person that is going to really assess the vehicle and let them know some of the things that you have seen. Do you have the courage of your conviction with that customer's trade before you give it to the manager? Take it out for a quick spin. Take it to the back to a technician because you noticed something and have it go up on the lift. Oh, I'm sorry, that's a little bit too much work. Now, for those that are involved with some type of third party like KBB and you give them what we call an instant cash offer, ICO, it's a very sensitive time. We need to sit down after we inspect it and go over it line by line. Now, some of your stores, they let the managers handle it. But if your job is to do that, there's a reason for us doing it. What happens if your store has an app on your phone and they require you to take pictures at certain points of the vehicle? Don't get lazy. There's a reason for this. This is why we have teamwork. But there's a lot of money that we still can make on trades if you do your job and as a salesperson, if the desk manager does not get up from behind that computer and go inspects the vehicle for themselves, and they just go by what you do, yeah, we're defeating the purpose all the way through. But once again, Brandon Hardison, I just wanted to touch on the trade appraisal because I don't care if you are one of the best luxury manufacturers to one of the middle or lower or independents, we all do a bad job when it comes to inspecting the trade. So with that said, 12 o'clock today, Rebecca Chernick will be talking about F&I and some of the best things there. So for the balance of the morning, Brandon Hardison is always imparting. Go out and make it a champion.